My daughter was Parker Leanne Monholland. At age 8, she was diagnosed with diffuse intrinsic pontine glioma, or DIPG, which is a terminal form of brain cancer. I did a lot of research because I didn't know that them telling me that it was DIPG, that it was terminal, until they said, your daughter has DIPG and she has 6 months to live. I went and researched and networked and found this intra-arterial chemotherapy treatment that was being available in Monterrey, Mexico. So we actually packed up our bags and moved to Mexico for 5 months, and she ultimately passed away in Mexico. My daughter's gone. There's not anything else I can do. I want to help all the families I can, and I want to help the next little girl, the next little boy.
On October 8th, we found out that Hadley had a tumor mass in her left brainstem. I am Hadley's aunt. I am Tara, Hadley's mom's big sister. I just felt as Tara's big sister and as Hadley's godmother that it's easy to be overwhelmed whenever you hear anything about your kid. Fathom hearing something so devastating, so I feel like I kind of stepped up into action as my sister just did what she does best, which is being Hadley's mom. So following Hadley's 11-hour brain surgery, she was intubated for 24 hours, at which point I had gone home. So I went and I took my kids to dance that night, and they danced at Priscilla and Dana School of Dance. And everybody kind of rallied around me, knowing that my niece had just had brain surgery and the prayers were, going. And Dana walked by me, the owner, and she looked at me and she said, "How's Hadley doing?" And I just said, well, she has it's a brain tumor on her brainstem, and they believe it's this. And I showed her a picture of the 3 lines that were just written down, scribbled on paper. And she said, you know who you need to talk to? You need to talk to Parker's mom. And she's saying, I'm gonna contact Amanda for you. And I kind of just stood there, just with tears running down my face, feeling like, I don't even know where to begin, but okay. And so she came out of her office not 30 seconds later, and she said, with her laptop in her hand, she goes, I have Amanda respond to you need to go in my office and call her right now. And that's what changed the entire journey for Hadley, is that moment there. And I'm so grateful for that. Soon enough, I became very acquainted with Dr. Koshman. And he said, I will try to pre-screen Hadley. I will do everything I can. And I knew that Dr. Koshman, from my research, was heading all of these ONC201 trials.
One of our patients at U of M is a little girl named Hadley who came to us from Kansas. She is, in a lot of ways, very typical for our patients with DIPG. They found out about the trial, and there were some road bumps into how we would get her here.
Well, she's here during her radiation therapy, which means several weeks, including the holidays, away from her family, and that certainly places a stress on her emotionally and her family. And it's necessary for her to get this treatment, and it's important, but we also acknowledge that that's difficult.
The progress we've made to get to where we are here, where we really think we're just starting to crack this thing open for tumors like DIPG, is because, honestly, previous families donated money. We wouldn't be where we are without that. And now we're really close to cracking this thing open, and I think all this progress that really stands to help children like Hadley will be lost if we lose that sort of funding momentum right now.
A lot of the funding that goes from the NIH and the government towards cancer research is broadly for all cancer research, but when you look at the numbers, really only 4% of that funding goes towards understanding pediatric cancers as a whole. And if you look at brain tumors, and then even more specifically at each of these high-risk diagnoses, such as DIPG, we're talking really a small amount of the federal funding for research goes towards understanding how these tumors behave and how we can treat them. And that's one of the main reasons that other support is needed for us to be able to do this kind of research and understand more about these tumors and how we treat them.
If you take a patient like Hadley and their family, they don't really have 20 years to find something that's better. They really have this sense of urgency of what can we fix in the years that she has left? How can we make things better now? And so I think those of us who are in the clinic with patients like Hadley or working on it in the lab, we really feel that sense of urgency. This is not something that we can kind of take our time on. And so I think for people who are thinking of getting involved, however that might be, fundraising or donating themselves, I think there are patients who need our help right now, and I think there are people who are doing this work to help them, and so we really want them to jump in soon and big if they can.
I'm just really, really proud of Tara and Hadley because they're just really strong. Hadley is very strong.
She's really sort of a charming patient, and I think a lot of us really like working with her.
Meeting Hadley, I kind of immediately knew that she was a young lady with a lot of spunk and often has funny jokes to interject in the middle of what sometimes are pretty serious conversations.
It's very impressive to watch a mother get up day after day and keep going on, tying her kids' shoes, doing arts and crafts with her in her hospital bed, with a smile on her face and never a tear in her eye, in the face of something so severe and so scary, to put on a happy face for your kid and to just keep going.
If people are supportive of the program that we've built here and the fact that we have clinical trials for patients from Kansas City to travel to, and that we have labs where we're studying samples from our patients, they can search for Chad Carr Pediatric Brain Tumor Center, and there's ways to connect with our team and give directly to the center. And that's going to go to the clinical research and the lab research, and really in supporting these families who are coming here.